Good morning and welcome to Melzworld Live. I'm your host, Ramel Otis, and today is Tuesday, May 13th, 2025. This is Melzworld Live. You know what's funny? This stream is based on the idea that I have to start it at 8:30 and then I get to go till like 8:45 or 9 o'clock in the morning. And this is a self-imposed schedule, has nothing to do with any of you, and it's a convenient schedule. It's if I have to drop the child off, I can do the podcast after. It isn't so late that I'm not ready for breakfast. It's supposedly a very convenient time to have this go for me. This is for me. It's a selfish thing, and yet I still enjoy when I have to cancel the show. Like, I still love the fact that I'm like, you know what? I don't want to do it. And then I feel great. Like John Mulaney does this about any canceled plans. He absolutely feels a dopamine hit when you set up a plan and then you cancel it. And it's invigorating. It's an invigorating sensation, right? And cuz I built this show to build my own ability to talk to the camera as if it's another person. Like, if you were actually sitting there with me, super easy to make eye contact, to read off of feedback, right? Nodding and smiling and all that kind of stuff. And when you try to apply it to a camera, there's a difference, because on a camera, there's nobody to say anything back to you. And I guess if you're narcissistic, like if you're a narcissistic person, you can just fill the space with your own voice, right? You can keep talking and you can keep that energy going. But when you're a normal person, yeah, I totally agree. Keita. When you're a normal person, you can't just keep trying to fill the space. And that's something that Keita's actually told me about, was when he first started doing this, there was a lot of gaps, right? When you're playing video games and you're streaming, you're focused on the video game. You're trying to figure out how to solve the thing, how to beat the thing, and you can't just keep this running commentary about how you feel or what's on your mind, because you're trying to solve, okay, how do I beat this puzzle? How do I take out this dude that's around the corner? And like, it's unnatural to keep talking while you're doing it. I mean, maybe if you grew up with siblings, you have a younger sibling sitting next to you while you're going through and you're talking with them, or maybe you're with your friends and you're playing Madden. Like, I get that, right? I could see you have a natural cadence in talking while you're with your friends, but like, as a skill set, as a muscle, it's not easy to just start talking while you're doing something, while you're playing, while you're cooking, while you're making, and streaming teaches people to do that because it's part of the engagement. It's part of cultivating your audience, staying in touch with the people that's listening to you. You have to keep the activity of chatting or going, doing your thing. And so anyways, I'm something that's something I have to kind of work on, because sometimes I'll stop talking because I want to see what my stats are on the screens, right? Like, well, how many people are listening on Twitch, and how many people are listening on Kick, and is there somebody responding to me in chats? That's another thing that I need to do, right? I need to figure out how to use my OBS system, which is over here. You can't see it, but I got to use my OBS system so that I can consolidate chats, so that I can see everyone talking in one box. I think it's possible. I don't know how to do it, but there's tricks and tips that I haven't figured out yet. I'm just making this shit float, right? I'm just trying to make all of it work together as one cohesive unit for me. But ultimately, there's so much more I could do. There's, I could put graphics on here. I could have live interactions. I mean, I've seen some of these Twitch streams. I know, Ketos. There's so much technology here. He says, I don't understand Restream. Absolutely, right? There's so much happening, and there's so much you can do, and there's so many ways to maximize it. And what you don't see is that some of these bigger streamers have teams, just like a bigger YouTuber. A bigger YouTuber is going to have teams of people. They're going to have producers. They're going to have staff, and those staff understand the technology way better than the streamer. right? Granted, there's going to be some really smart, really clever streamers who know how to use the system, who know how to, figure out what the fun little, transition stuffs are, and that's great. I'm not one of those guys. I'm using it. I think maybe I'm at the point where because I'm comfortable talking to the screen and filling it with noise, I can start adding quality to this stream. Once again, to not to an end, not to a particular goal, but to continue honing a skill, right? I have friends who just read programming guides, right? They learn new programming languages, and that's the skill that they hone. And that's cool. I'd die. I'd read, I'd fall asleep, right? But this is interesting to me. Creating the engagement, creating the conversation, then maybe I learn a little bit more about how to make the screen more interesting. How to right now, I got my little workflowy, to-do list, checklist. I got ChatGPT on the ready, but I could probably make it much more interesting than this. I just have chosen not to. I know some streamers put this chat on the screen. I know that's a thing they do. But once again, not enough volume for that to make any sense. But once again, I want to put everything into OBS and then put it on the screen, and maybe that makes sense. So anyways, that'll be its own project. But let's dive right in. So yesterday I cut it very short, and the reason was I had to do something immediately at 9 a.m. So let me give you a little bit of context. About, I don't know, 1998, 1999, Mira Mesa, San Diego, the neighborhood I live in, had what's called a regional teen center. And so we had an old library, public library, across the street from the high school, and they were going to build a new public library. So there was this building, the shell of a building, and instead of deconstructing it, right, demolishing it, they offered the opportunity to turn it into a teen center. And there was literally $800,000 given to the city towards making this teen center. So I was, 1993, 94, I was just in high school, and I participated in building a teen center. Like, I didn't physically build it, but I worked with the architects. I worked with a teen council. We canvassed the city for donations and for engagement, and eventually we made a teen center. And the idea wasn't just a place where you would go after school, right? I mean, when you think of a typical teen center, that's the core functionality, which is a place for teens to go after they're done with school. And there's many teen centers all strewn about the U.S., and that's really what it is. Your school ends, your parents aren't home yet, so instead of going home or causing mischief, running on the streets with a gang, because that's apparently what they did back then, you go to this teen center, and there would be games, board games, activities, sports, like whatever you want to do. You and your crew can hang out at the teen center, and it's not a bad idea. The concept was, and I honestly think it was built off of the Generation X kids, because the boomers didn't, when they had kids, they didn't give a shit about them, right? Like, boomers said, "Oh, I worked till 6, I worked till 8, I worked till 9. I don't care about my kids. I don't want them on the streets." And so a lot of latchkey kids just went home. And the concept of the teen center made more sense because it was, it brought teens together. If you didn't just go home and went to your gang, the Crips or the Bloods or whatever, you had a place to go, right? It was your shared space. Anyways, so we built this, and then I left. I graduated. I went on to college. I did my life, and the teen center went through phases, right? The phases were, first it started with what we built it as, which was, it wasn't just a place to go to after school, but there was an internet cafe back when that just didn't happen, right? 1999, internet cafes weren't common in the U.S. It was something that you saw like in Korea and Japan. So yeah, we had an internet cafe. We had a restaurant, like a full-blown restaurant with like eggplant parmesan and rasta pasta. We had entrepreneurial opportunities. So there was a storefront. So there was a lot of great, cool things that a kid could learn more than just being, just hanging around. There was actually opportunities to learn skills, and that was the dream. The dream was that the teen center was this youth hub where young people could go and learn and collaborate and get skills and all these cool things. Well, that lasted for a while because the city doesn't have a lot of money, right? If you think about San Diego, you go, oh yeah, San Diego's got a lot of money. No, um, yes, there are very expensive parts of San Diego, but they're not necessarily part of San Diego City. San Diego City is its own thing. It definitely has neighborhoods in it, but if you think of the wealthier parts of the San Diego region, it's called San Diego County. And San Diego County is what you hit right out of Orange County. So you're going through Orange County, you're heading south, and you're passing like the military base, right? As soon as you hit Oceanside, you're in San Diego County. And San Diego County is huge. It goes all the way to the border. It goes far out east, and it covers a massive area, which does include La Jolla, which does include 4S, which it does include Del Mar. So these are all major money-making communities, and they're part of the San Diego County, which means all the property tax goes there. Property tax doesn't go to the city. Property tax goes to the county, and it is, I mean, it's just a tremendous amount of money there. So anyways, the city didn't have any money for the teen center, and therefore the teen center had to fend for itself and figure out how to become profitable. And when you make your system based on this kind of capitalistic, motivation, only the businesses that are capitalized, that are driven by capital, will survive. And in this case of the teen center, it was concerts, right? Restaurants never make money unless they're just absolutely popular and well attended and word of mouth, and the food's good. And even then, they operate on slim margins. The storefront is only good when the people selling the money or selling the product are kicking back to the building that they're renting from. In the case of the teen center, they were giving the storefronts to teens so that teens could try out their own businesses. So were the teens within the businesses doing well? Absolutely. They were making $50,000, $60,000 a year, and they were teenagers, right? But the actual storefront, did that feed any money back to the teen center? Absolutely not. And would that teen be as profitable if they were paying, $1,000 a month? Maybe, but they never pushed for that. So there was no other, and the internet cafe, they didn't charge anybody anything for that, right? The whole point was to get teens in, not to scare them off because they didn't have money. And so what you got was a concert venue where the money came from concerts, and the venue was the building itself. And for a short window of time, and I think it was, the early 2000s, the teen center slowly morphed into being a concert venue focused facility. Yes, it had all the other stuff, but those things were slowly getting pushed out and squeezed down and turned into something that wasn't as focused because, you need to make money. Make it the concert hall. So the concert hall then became the primary source of income. It became the thing. And so Blink 182, Fall Out Boy, Maroon 5, major acts in the US would land in the epicenter and just make for some memorable concerts. But what was happening is you were losing the essence of what the teen center was about, which is the teens, right? And in the cones of Dunshire, the core rule is the cones. In the teen center, the core rule is the teens. So now the teen center, the venue just wasn't standing up. It was getting too many noise violations. The city wasn't happy, and eventually it lost all of that. And then once it stopped being a concert venue, there was no money, and then it fell into disrepair. There were functionalities that needed to take place. Repairs, building standards, where the money wasn't available. And so the only people that were paying to keep it alive were religious organizations on the weekend. They would rent it out for their congregations. I feel like, if your business is starting to struggle and you have enough space, you either become a Halloween spirit store or you become a shell for a Sunday worship of some religion. Anyways, Fast forward, Teen Center has now nobody there, and it's just taking up space, and it costs too much money to do anything with, and it costs too much money to demolish. And so now it's just kind of sitting there like a I wouldn't say a cancer, but like a goiter. It's just sitting there in the city, not doing anything. And that's when you realize, okay, well, what's going to happen? And I've been so detached for years now that I just see it from the distance. I live near it. I kind of see what's going on. Anyways, it finally gets picked up by the county. There's an organization of youths and volunteers that bring back this attention to the county, and the county knows that it's going to be $7 million to fix, and there's money. I think there's like $10 to $15 million there. They devote the money, and there we go. It's going to be rebuilt. It's going to happen. It's coming back, and that's where I finally return. Right, I finally return to it, and I go, I want to help out, and I meet with the county head, the guy his name is Brandon. He's the manager of the Parks and Recs in San Diego County. He's in charge of the project, so I interface with him, and the one thing that he needs and he's looking for is memorabilia. He wants historic documents. That's what I did yesterday. So that was a 10-minute story to tell you that I met with a company called Harmonium. They ran the Teen Center back in the heydays, and they had a tremendous amount of memorabilia and paperwork, and then I just had to leave at 8:45 on the dot to get down there and grab it. And then immediately after that, I had another meeting, and so just yesterday was a lot. Yesterday was going. Today I got to focus on other things. So let's go ahead and go through our list since I did my 15-minute rant, and let's see what's going on here. Yep. So we'll leave the house as the house. The health is the health. The auto is the auto. I'm ready. I'm ready to videotape this, do some voiceover work. So let me go ahead and put down record narration, and then I need to figure out a shooting script for that. In the epicenter, I can say collected memorabilia. And then follow up with Brandon. So I actually did both of those things already. I followed up with Brandon, and I collected the memorabilia. So go me. Okay, let's see. That's work. Do I have something else for work? Limited, remote, hybrid, blah, 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 blah. Okay, no, that's not what I care about. Projects. World's Concert. Yes, World's Concert. I visited the soap factory, and I made a video. And now I need to get finalized proposal. They did send us a proposal, but we still need AV, and we need like furniture rental, right? So we need to get a finalized proposal. I haven't done any sketch stuff, and that's it for that. So so I did go to Harmonium, done. I did meet with my brother, done. I didn't do any work for the unrest, and I did apply for more jobs, but I can leave that on there for today. So there you go. That's it. I got that, and then I got to look into Mint Mobile, credit, Mint Mobile, and 529. So these are things that I want to adjust so that we might have a little bit more income, because all of these things cost things, and if we can somehow reduce it, it'd be great. All right, that's everything. So thanks again for coming in. Thanks for watching. It was fun kind of just recapping Teen Center. Yeah, Kita's, me and you, we just got to keep improving, keep looking at how we can make our streams better, much more engaging, much more interactive. Other than that, have a fantastic Tuesday. I hope everyone enjoys the weather. It's a little cooler from last week. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for coming to Melzworld Live. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.